Yes, greetings and welcome to the time. Yes, people, big shout goes out to Rasta Dragon for the last set. Big up yourself, and thank you for taking us back in time when my granny used to play them tune upon gramophone and them thing there. Dragon still play them tune. I don't know how he does it, but he's playing them tune there. You know them 10-inch tune that used to make out a slate tile. Dragon still play them tune. You know what I mean? The 78 speed, Dragon still play them. You know what I mean? So it's like go. Right, so people, today we're gonna have our little talk today. We're gonna change up things because, you know what I mean, with time for rise up and things. So obviously normally I would read the Psalms at the beginning of the show. I'm going to change that eventually. I have to change that because, you know, it's about the time. You know, obviously we give thanks and praise to the Creator, the Most High. You know what I mean? But we'll start giving you proverbs because it's best to give you some word of wisdom that you know there is something in there for you, although there's something in the Psalms. But not everybody work with the Bible, so everybody will definitely work with proverbs because it's wise sayings, you know, which is important for us. So today, before we start the show, just give thanks and praise to the Most High, the Almighty, for everything. And for taking us through another blessed day in the land of the living and not the dead. You know what I mean? Give thanks to our ancestors that has gone before us and paved the way for us to be here. You know what I mean? And blessed be unto those that's fortunate ourselves, the children, the motherless, the fatherless, the infants, the sick, the poor and the elderly. May the Most High bless them, guide them and strengthen them, and join us together in a unity so we can now unite as one people to move forward and build together, to show the world, say yes, we can build, you know what I mean? And we did build in the beginning and we will build in the end. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. So guide us, protect us, strengthen us from this time forth and forevermore. Selah. Bless. That's it. Right. Okay, people. Today we have a guest in the studio. You know what I mean? I would say special, but we are special. But this brother is not even special, he's even unique. You know what I mean? The word is not even special. It's unique because once you write a book, you know, and you can give the information to the people, you know, that is it, you know. It's like when we get the Bibles, you give the Bible and say, yeah, there's the Bible, and we take the Bible and run with it, and it's the biggest selling book. And it's not our book. Well, it's kind of bits of our book, but not all of it. So now we have another book, which is important to you, yeah, which is called the Etymology. It's called Etymology, and it's basically the roots of words. Yeah, you have to call a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend to listen, because there's going to be some things in there that you definitely ain't going to know. Even the name that you've been called is not what you think it is. You know what I mean? And everything that I've just said to you is not what you think I'm saying. That's how deep this thing is. You know what I mean? So when we realize that, well, we assess certain things, we need to realize the power behind the words and the energy behind the words that we're using, and we've got no idea. And you know, so Babylon is a trap, so they're gonna come up with a language that works for them, which some of you don't realize that the English language is actually in reverse. It's a backward language. When I say backward, I don't mean like backward like dance, but I'm speaking to you and it sounds forward, but really and truly it's not. It's the other way around. That's why some people write from left to right, and some write from right to left, some write from up to down, and so forth, or down to up, because they're normal. You know what I mean? But these words, this English word, right, I'll tell you something, you know, truthfully, we don't have too much time with the brother. We're just going to go straight into the thing. Greetings, brethren.
Greetings, Bless FM. Greetings yourself and the community, and thanks for the ancestors for bringing me there with Brother Dougie.
Yes. Oh, sorry, people. I think he's so quiet playing on his phone. You know, like the children do. Oh no, actually, he's playing with the microphone. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Brother Dougie.
Yeah, man. Give thanks and praise to the Most High. Give thanks to Rasta Dragon. I know for a very long time. People don't know he's a dancer, you know, a professional dancer. Give away his secret. You know, he's looking at me. You know, but it's good to be among you, among the family. You know, so I want to give thanks.
Yeah, so we have Brother Dougie live in here, and Another reason why we have Dougie here, because of the works. You understand? We have to look at where we're moving to as a people, and when the elders put on seminars and certain little things for our benefit, with a benefit from it, and we support it because we want to grow. And if we claim that we are the people we're supposed to be, then we need to support our people that is doing something positive. When I talk about, yeah, man, we have a dancer come on and everybody want to rush go and dance, but when it comes to knowledge, it's like, what, I'm afraid of knowledge. As I said, the truth will set you free. But some of you don't want to be free, because when you're free, you have to sacrifice certain things and give up certain things, you know what I mean? And so someone don't want to be free, you know, like the plantation life, you know what I mean? And you like to know so you can go in a master house and get some food and sleep on master bed and all these things, while enough of it out here in the field, a graft and a work and a chop down cane so that you can eat food. You understand? So you need to realize to support the seminars them, you know what I mean, and bring your children, because the reason why is because same way like how they, when we was little, they gave us the Bible and they gave us these things, and we run, and when we grow up now, we kind of hooked to the Bible or stuck to the Bible, but it's because we had it when we was young and when we was vulnerable and when we was naive. But they give us this thing. But not just stop on the Bible. Bring your children to knowledge classes at that same age, and you never know, man. If they're gonna make us be addicted to the Bible like that, then why can't we be addicted to other things? You know, when the things what we're doing now, maybe we were inspired by it from when we was a child, or when we was younger, we was inspired by something, and then when we get older, we end up doing it. So why just leave it to Bible and religion, and what happened to our history? What happened to the words we're using? So, brethren, introduce yourself. Tell them who you are.
Greetings. Yeah, I'm called Jammers, Brother Jammers, or DS Jammers when I'm writing, but just plain Jammers when I used to DJ. And basically, what I do, I break down the words. I look at where words originate from. I look into the Latin, look into the German, look into the Greek, go back to the Phoenicians. I've just started to look into the Hebrew language, and then I relate it back to the hieroglyphs as well.
Okay, so as I said, people, today is going to be a listening show. Yeah, I mean, and even your wife next to you, and her name is Sarah or Jane. That's not her name, you know. You've been calling her name. I gotta tell you something, I got twist up on it today, you know. Me, I call my wife by her name for how much years? But her name don't mean her name. It means something totally different, and even certain words like nice. And we say, you look nice, darling. Nice don't mean nice. so you realize how Babylon twists up the thing, you know. It's dangerous. So we have this book here, yeah, about words, yeah, and it's about the root of words. And people, you need to get the book. You really need to get the book. Yeah, you need to get the book. And even if you're into the Bible, that's why I'm bringing up the Bible. If you're really into the Bible, you need to look at what some of these words mean. You know what I mean? Especially amen. Amen. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to tell you, but you use it in your prayer all the time. Yeah. Right, so big shout goes out to Father Ted, bless up on herself and the family. Big shout goes out to Ragga D and the family. Bless up Mummy for bringing forth Ragga D and thing, and for making sure that he's never hungry. You know what I mean? And looking after him, make sure I'm big and strong and thing for carry them shopping bag. You know, I got. So
Ragga D big already, you know.
Yes, mommy giving some tough food and some caveman dumpling.
Big up yourself, Ragga.
Yeah, man, him there, man. Long time. The brother there deserve a break, more than a break, because he contributed a lot to the reggae music as a DJ. Him contribute wholly, so no one can't take that from him. He knows the history of the thing. So the book, hold on. Would you like to talk to us about some of these things what you got on first, so we can deal with these?
I like playing with words sometimes. I just want to break down a couple of words that you just mentioned right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you look at the word psalm. You take the S out of the word psalm, which is the second letter in the word psalm. You put it at the end, you see the word palms. So basically, when you actually are signifying a prayer, you put your hands together to give and receive. So that's the significance of the word psalm is palm. The next one is the word name. You see, if you look at two animals that are in captivity, you have the cat and you have the dog. Yeah. The cat doesn't listen to what the master says. You know, he doesn't hear the words and sounds. The dog responds to every sound that the master makes. And if the dog steps out of line and gets beaten, yes. So basically, once you start responding to these words that you've been given to you, and you respond to the name that you've been given to you. If you look at the word named backwards, you see the word demon.
Hold on. What's your name again? So you want to say, yo, what's your demon? That don't sound right. You see this word thing? I told you, you know, you tell a friend to tell a friend, say her name is not her name. All right. So we could carry on. So what are you the main demon? How you break that down?
Well, just put the word named, Named, and read it from right to left.
Okay.
D, and it's the sound. It's not the letter. It's the sound. So you've got DE, which means to take away something, and MAND, demand. Demand. Is it demand or is it? Can you say that's demand or demand? So you put that, I missed out the E. Yeah. You put 2 D's on. So take the ND of it. It's D-man. D-man.
Or demand.
Yeah, D-man. And D means to take away, like deduce, deduct, denominate. So when you put D, and man means hands. So basically, your hands have been taken down for somebody else's use. When you're calling yourself a man, you're calling yourself a hand. You're somebody else's hand. Like in manuscript, using the hand. Manicure is hand. Manipulate when you're using hand. So a maneuver is when you're using your hand to turn. When you're calling yourself a man, you're calling yourself somebody's hand to be used.
So you're calling yourself an extension of somebody else.
Somebody else's, more
or less.
Yeah, you're somebody else's hands that they can use. You know, once you go into employment means a trick. Yeah, look at the word ploy. It means to trick or deceive. So basically, once you're employed by somebody else, you know, and they see you as a man, that means you're just one of their boys to do what their job. You're there, you know, all hands on deck. You know, so basically, that's what you just do the work for them.
Wow. You hear that, Dougie? All right, so next time you ask me to give you a hand, you know, I'm not helping. I'm not doing nothing. I mean, you can get a foot or something else, but not a hand. No demon thing around here. You know what I mean? All right, so people, you understand the words. You see how simple it is, but it's not nice. So even when you pray or you worship, and you're not using the mother tongue, what are we actually saying? You know what I mean? So anyway, that's another thing again. So, carry on, brother, because this is interesting.
Let me just see. All right, okay, you said the word listen as well, yeah?
Yeah.
When you break down the word listen, you've got LIS. LIS in Latin means, it also breaks down to lit, means to quarrel, like a litigation. Okay. You know, so basically, when they're listening for your flaws in your argument, so they can counter you. You see what I'm saying? So basically, that word listen, it also means to argue. You know, and then this is my point. Then the study of language is called literacy. Remember, I said lit means to argue or quarrel. So in Latin, it's called litera. Terra in Latin means land. So basically, literacy, which they say is a study of letters, means to argue over land, possession, and identity. So every time they open their mouth and you open your mouth, they're trying to get your land, your possession, or identity. This is what literacy means. This is what the study of letters means. It really is arguing to get your things from you. With what's in the middle of their mouth is called a teeth, and they're using their teeth to teeth everything. These are guns to teeth.
Okay, so people, when anybody call your teeth, just smile. Just smile at them. Yeah, the guys say, yeah, your damn teeth. Say, yeah, mama, 32 of them you have. You know what I mean? So you smile when they call you, but you know, you mustn't teeth still though, you know, but carry on, so people.
That's basically, so the study of the letter is basically the study of land, possession, and identity. You know, so basically the words that they give you comes from a dictionary. Anytime somebody gives somebody a dictation, that means it's an instruction for you to follow. So when you're taking the words from the dictionary, it's basically you're just taking orders. That's what really a word is, an order. It's giving you a direction, because an order is a direction. It's also an ordinance. Look at the word word. You add an ER to it, you'll see the word order inside the word word. And funny enough, the word word links to the word sound, because a sound is an audio signal. You listen to a sound in an auditorium. And and if you listen to this, if you take the W away from the word, you see you hear the word sound in it. You put the ORD together, you hear the word ord, which relates to sound. So it's a sound to give you a direction. Dire means when you're in trouble. When you're in a dire circumstances or dire strait, it means you're in trouble. So when you're following someone's direction from the word, you're putting yourself at somebody else's mercy. So that's basically breaking down the words. And what I've done, actually, I've put the words into, basically, when they teach you the language, they're teaching you just like they teach a dog. They're giving you they're not teaching you like a mathematics, because in mathematics they'll tell you 1 + 1, and they show you how they get the answer. 1 + 1 equals 2. They'll give you the answer. But when they give you the letters, they're not telling you why these particular letters equal this action. So once you follow the sound that they're making without having the explanation of why these letters equal the action, you're becoming just like a dog. You're responding to a sound and making it. You're moving deaf, dumb, and blind to the sound, because they're not giving you the formula why these letters equal the action. So once you jump to that sound, you're becoming programmed. And that's basically what it is. A program. If you look, and they learn grammar. They go to grammar school to learn grammar. And basically, if you put forward something, it's called protest. You're putting forward. So you're testing somebody by putting yourself in front of them. Projector. Put something forward. Produce. Put something forward. So program is when you're putting forward the grammar. So they go to school to learn the grammar, to put forward the grammar, to program you, while we go to comprehensive school so we can understand the instruction, the orders that the people who go to grammar school give us to follow. And you'll fall low when you follow these instructions given by the people who are giving you these words to follow.
You see that? So people, when I repeat that to now, I am not saying that was a mouthful and a brainful, right? So sometimes, brethren, and I hear what you're saying, but you need to breathe a little piece, because when we're following you now, sometimes all is in plain English,
yes,
but it's a journey. So, you know what I mean? Some people's going to try and keep up with it.
I fully comprehend that. But also, what I'm doing, it gives you an example that when you don't follow the set way that they put words together, you have the ability to speed up your you think forwards and backwards and front and back, and you're able to speed up your ability to move beyond thinking and move to thought, because thinking is produced from the ink by the pen. A pen is a holding device, like you put your children in a playpen. It also puts you in trouble, like you could end up in a penitentiary. They have a penal code, which means punishment. So a pen, if something's hanging from your neck, it's called a pendant, because it's hanging, and suspended means something hanging. So when you're thinking from the ink of the pen, you're held by the ink of the pen. That's why every time you write in a sentence. Your sentence by the sentence. That's why it goes into your brain cell, and the brain cell is for you to be reigned over. So when they're training you to reign over you.
You see that? Sentence, you can write a sentence, or you can do a sentence. You can serve a sentence. What a thing. You see, so people, you know a little bit about words, It's very important that we know these things, because even when we're speaking and knowing these words, it helps you, especially when you're reading books and getting information, and they say they're telling you the truth, but yet they're using certain words. How do we get around it then?
Just buying this book, really, and listening to Bless FM.
You see that simple. Buy the book.
It's out, because what it was in the past, so it's going to be back in the past. So basically, we were the teachers where everybody else came from. And now we're putting ourselves back in that position where we're the teachers once again. So
yeah, for
it's
real.
as simple as that.
Right. So people, when we're saying buying the book, we're not going to say buy the book because we want your money, right? So this is one thing we've got to learn about Bless Radio. If we're going to tell you to get something, it's for a good reason. We're not going to make you waste your money and make people sell things to you that you don't need, and then you end up with an all-up book that you don't need. This book you need. Yeah, it is a must. Yeah, when I say it is a must, it is a must. You know what I mean? Especially when the system try to write you letters with some big words and try to tell you these things. Just use this book and write them back a letter. And I bet you they don't even understand what you're saying, but it's the way it is. So we've got a book here, as I said, the book is called Etymology, and it's the root of words, the origin of script. Yeah. The brother on the cover. Oh yeah, we wasn't talking about him earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to I'll get back to you on that. And
yeah.
Also, basically, the word, breaking down the word etymology. Etymology means, they say, they'll say it means the history. But when you go to the etymology of the word etymology, you see it means the truth. So it means the true word. Well, my question is, if you've done something in the original, why do you need a word called etymology in your vocabulary? That means you know that it's come from somewhere else. So basically, if the word etymology is a Greek word, that means the Greeks got their language from somewhere else. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the word etymology in their vocabulary.
All right, let's talk a little history before we go into the book. How did you get into this thing in the first place? You never wake up one day and say, "Why that word must sound right to me." You know what I mean? It's to do what you're doing, and one don't just wake up out of their bed and just say, "Cha, you know what? I'm gonna investigate words." What happened? Tell me how it started.
Well, for some reason, from when I was 2, I was able to read. I don't know how I was able to read, and then my parents used to have to spell. But then I could understand the spelling. So when they say P-A-R-K, I say, I want to go to the P-A-R-K. So I could read, but when I went to school, I lost all that. And then at 11 plus, I was at top.
How you lost that when you went to school?
I just don't know. When I went to school, everything just went.
You sure you never got any vaccination? Because they weren't vaccinating a lot of the black children
like
at the time.
Anything like that, yeah.
So parents, it's true. Parents, you don't know what you do to us, you know. You send us to school, you know. And when you don't know, they bring us and they give us some injection and all this thing, and you got no idea. And you sign and give them consent to inject us and dumb us down. Mind what you're doing, you know. So yeah, Karen. So
the 11 plus, I was in the 90s. I got a 90s in there, but after that as well, I just don't know what happened. After that, I just don't know what happened. You know,
it just disappeared.
Yeah, it just disappeared like that. And I've always been attracted to books for some reason. So I don't know. Because I've got a big book collection. You know, and let me see what happened. Yeah, I did start to get some stuff coming to me, like thinking thoughts that you wouldn't have thought you would have thought of before.
Okay,
you know, stuff like that. So, like, but anyway, but away from that, through some family issues, I ended up living in a van for about 2 to 3 years. I was living in a van,
a 5-star van.
So I was living in it's like an alternative reality, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so when I'm in the van and I'm seeing people going into their house, it's like you're about 5 or 3 foot away. When you see all these beggars on the street, you're about 3 foot away from, you know, having that
from your yard. You're outside your house,
yeah, it's an alternative reality. When all the lights shut down and you're in this van, it's just like, whoa, what's going on, you know?
Wow.
So I was in, and one time we was watching Oprah Winfrey with one of my friends, and there's this woman talking about she was living in a van for 6 months, you know, and I was feeling sorry for her. And the girl said, well on, you've been in a van for 2 years.
And you're feeling sorry for them. It's a weird thing, you know, because you see, when we watch films and white people are suffering, you know, we feel it for them. For some reason, we feel it for them and don't realize, hold on, but we not got you worse. You know what I mean? Some people check what we're doing on the TV, because me watch a film with John Travolta, and all the white people were the lower class and all the black people was the upper class. So all the rich people were black, and the white people, they had to go and sign on and all of this stuff there, yeah. You need to watch that film there. I felt so sorry for the brother. The brother can't get a job. His wife throw him out. His mother don't want to talk to him. Police arresting him all the time. I said, that poor man. And I don't even think about we at the time.
It's even like Kane West. There was something a bit in today about his quarrel over some 10 million he's not getting from insurance, and I was feeling sorry for him. But I said, well, lad, look how much money that man have.
Yeah, so people, we need to realize when we feel sorry for someone, we need to feel sorry for what our people's been through, because they're being through a whole lot more, and some of us don't even feel sorry for them. You know what I mean? Not for the people, them, Harriet Tubman and all the Underground Railroad and Marcus Garvey and all the man them you could think of, what they went through. And do we feel sorry for them? Do we even think about, boy, I feel it? No, we don't. But when you see it on the television, you feel sorry for them. What a shame. Anyway.
Yeah, so anyway, I was in this band and it got to like the lowest of the low, where I had only enough money for either cheese or bread. I was outside the Sainsbury's.
You get cheese or bread?
I didn't know which one to choose, whether the cheese or the bread. And I just said, why? How can you fight all of this negativity?
What a decision, hard decision. So what you pick, the cheese or the bread?
I was just saying, what? I was just questioning the universe, but how can you fight this negativity in the world? How come there's somebody? And I just started to question everything from there. I just said, like, who am I? I said, I'm a man. Well, what's a man?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a human. What's a human? A human's made out of molecules and proton. What's a molecule and a proton?
Okay.
So I just went down. So what does a then he goes, I went to electrons, I think. Yeah. What does electron do? It revolves. I go, well, what's revolve mean? I just want to question. Then I realised, like, click, there's two sounds in revolve. Re and volve. So then I just clicked that there's two sounds in the one word.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, well, re means to go back and volve means to turn. And I clicked, I've never, even though I had my English qualification, no one's ever told me that there's two sounds that make up the one word. You know. And then I had a CD. So I was just questioning everything, and I was just putting the CD like this in my car. You can't see it, but it's just like a car wheel. Watch the car wheel. When the car's going forward, the wheel's actually spinning back. You know. So I started to turn it. When I heard the word revolve, I started to spin the CD around, and I realised when the CD's going forward, the wheel's going back. So then I realised, wait a minute, we need to go back to go forward. You know, when you're going forward, when you think you're going forward, you're really going backwards. So, and the word technology came to my head, and I went, wait a minute, technology. There's a sound in the word technology. It's taking your knowledge away. So I thought, right, this even sounds like what it's doing. And then I started to. I had another word. I looked and I started to reverse certain words, like the word tip. So when you reverse the word tip, which is at the top, you get the word pit. When you reverse the word sub, which is under, you get the word bus. So I was thinking, 1 minute, if I'm living in a land that I come from a hot place and I'm living in a cold place, that means when they sound something, the opposite applies to me. You know, so basically when they say they're at the tip of something, that means I'm in the pit. You know, so then I started to question every single word that came my way. You know, and then I realised it's the sound. There's something in the sounds of the words, like the word solution. If you say solution backwards, you get NO, which is no, IT, which is it, U, which is you, then LOV, know it, you lose. Because the E is silent. So the opposite to solution is know it, you lose. So then I said, hold on, there's something in this sound thing here. And then I got, I don't know, something with and my brain just started to think of every single word I was getting. I was analysing the word, and I got to the word male. And in the word male, you got M-A-L-E. Yeah. So when you play with those words, you get the word lame, which is the opposite. Lame means when something isn't bad. So I thought male must be wicked. So I went to the Latin dictionary to go and check that. And when I checked, I see the word male. The male, that's one of the wickedest things you could call yourself is male. You know, so I'm thinking, how can you be calling yourself something that's so wicked? Okay. And then in my process then, I found out there was when I was checking the Latin dictionaries, something weren't right. Because when you look at the word man in Latin, it'll give you something about masculine. It won't give you the word male. So when you go to the Latin to English, you get one meaning, but when you go to the English to Latin, you get another. So there was something wrong with the dictionary. Then through my research, I found out they took out hundreds of words out of the dictionaries, the Latin dictionaries that you get to Oxford and Cambridge, and there's only two dictionaries, Latin dictionary with all the words in them, which is the Cambridge Dictionary and the Lewis and Short Dictionary. And I managed to get hold of that dictionary, and it just escalated from there.
You just gone.
Escalated from there.
I like the way you break down male, you know, because male is something that you put in a box, you know, and you send it to someone.
There you go.
Male, what male? So when you call a male, a man is a male. Are you actually something that's in a box?
That's it.
By calling yourself that has to be sent from place to place, from one place to our next place. That's, I don't know, you know, but you're getting me into the thing now, you know what I mean? So people, you see, this is how it is, yeah. So even that, we're going to go a little bit on the book, yeah.
I just want to say one more thing. What happens is when people do research, they look for etymology.
Yeah.
They see Latin as the authority. Yeah. So they'll say, oh, it's a Latin word, and they stop at Latin. But they don't question what Latin means. Latin means to hide and conceal. The last three letters of the word Latin is tin, T-I-N. When you put something in a tin, you're hiding it. Tin backwards is night, which is light. Yeah, like, you know, then it's night. It's like a knight in shining armour. And night is actually, you're getting a shining effect from the moon hitting the planet. So night, which is the opposite of tin. So that's another thing. So Latin means to hide.
Yeah.
It means to hide. So that's another thing. So when I went to the Latin now, I had to try and decipher what are they hiding, why are they hiding things. And when you look at how language developed, when you get to the Latin, you see they reverse the symbols. So the original Kemetic symbols, when it gets to Latin, the symbols start to reverse. And that's the process that they've done on us. They've taken our symbols, because it's not really an alphabet, it's an alphabet, because we apply the sounds and the symbols to the words. The phonetics, what you have in every dictionary, comes from the Phoenicians. Phoenicians got their language from Proto-Sintiatic. Proto means origin, Sintiatic means Sinai, which is in Egypt. So basically, it's our language. That's why we're so good at making sounds. So it's our language, and basically they've taken the language and they've put a process called strepthosymbolius on the language. Strepthosymbolius is stripping the sounds from the symbols. So basically you don't recognize something, or you look at it and you see it in reverse. You see that? So they'll say the words to you and they've taken the sounds and the symbols out of the language. So they give you a bunch of letters and you're not seeing the sounds in the letter.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna get to you still, because I'm gonna ask you to figure out. Tell me why you put this on the front of the book. Well, eventually, yeah, I understand. This guy must have something to do with words or something.
I think it's Jehuti or something like that.
Yeah.
It's got something to. It is something to do with words. It is. I've got to get back to you to find out, but it does relate to somebody who deals with words, like Jehuti.
Yeah, I think.
But basically, that's a symbol of us when we're at our highest, really. When we're at our highest, we were kings. We still are kings, but we knew we were kings. We carried ourselves and conducted ourselves in a kingly manner towards each other.
See,
so this is who we were.
Right. So people, you hear the little part there about the words and thing. You know what I mean? So what words do we use then?
Basically, it's beyond words, really. We have to throw out, because every word is man-made, Every word's got a meaning. A meaning is just an average, So when someone says you're shy, that's an average. It doesn't apply to who you are as a person. A word is a spell as well. It's used by spelling. So it's a period of time.
Spell thing.
So you got a hot spell, you got a cold spell. So really, you might have a shy spell, but they don't say about the spell, they say shy. So you'll recognize every time you're shy, but you won't recognize every time you're not shy. So when you take on the identity of the word, and that's the problem, because when they give you a verb like jump, run, or stop, you know what to do with a verb. A verb is also the sound reverb, so it's something that you can use that sound back to do something. So when you've got a verb, that's something you can do. But when somebody gives you a label or a noun, that stops you in the track. I'll give you an example. If I say you're drinking too much, which is a verb, you just drink less. That's the solution.
Yeah.
If I say you're alcoholic, there's no way out of that.
Yeah.
There's no solution to the word alcoholic, because it's a noun. The word noun, no, actually means free. N-O means free. Un, it does the opposite. So you're capable, then you're uncapable. You see, so un takes away. So when you're giving the word noun, it's stopping you from being free, because no actually means to be free. Because when you want to be free of your guardian, it means to be free of your guardian or to sail off. That's what no really means. So when as a child you want to run away and be free, they say no. But that word's given to you, that means a negative. But no is not a negative word, it's a positive. It was also the capital of Egypt before it came Thebes. So no is a positive. Because basically if somebody asks you to do something and you say no, you're free.
Yeah. So no means free.
No means you're free.
So that means I go, yo, hey Bridget, you are no man. So what's all the no man them out there? Yeah. So if you're no man, hold up your no man hand. Yeah.
And people don't realise. So when they say knowledge now, really knowledge is when you know something and you're capable of doing, you're able to do it. That's what knowledge really means. Because you can know something, but that means you can't do it. So you have to be able to do it.
For real. So what does able mean then?
Well, that's the next thing, really, because able. Well, I could go back to the biblical. All right, I'll take a biblical thing.
Yeah.
You had Cain and you had Abel. Yeah. You put Cain and Abel together. I'll say Cain and Abel fast.
Cain and Abel.
Faster.
Cannibal.
So basically, to cannibalize something means when you're against it.
Okay.
And Cain was against Abel. able has the spirit, because the word L, it's got the word L in it, and but bull means strength. So able has the spirit to do something. Can do it, but doesn't have the spirit to do it. So when you're able to do something, you've got the spirit to do. You've got the spirit in you, to do something. When you can do something, that doesn't mean you have the spirit to do it. You see, and you might be against the person who you're seeing doing it. So Cain might be against Abel, cannibalize. So cannibalize means to be against them, and that is really what that kind of the higher metaphysics of that is, that the people who are able to be in the sun, and other people can be in the sun, but they have a problem when they're in there. They're against the people who are able to be. You see, someone who is skilled, the people who are not as skilled. So basically, someone who's a natural dancer doesn't need to look at books or have a choreographer or learn. Can just do it.
Okay.
Other people can copy those moves, but they're still going to be against the one who's got the spirit. And that's what it is really. So the person who's got the spirit is going to have a problem with somebody who hasn't got the spirit. And that's the kind of higher metaphysics of that.
See. So people, you can't get the thing, you can go to, I hope you understand what the man's saying, and I hope I'm saying it right, because I might say, I hope you understand. And I said, no, he's not understand, or is he in a stand, or is it overstand? Which stand is it? You know what I mean?
Or over, really.
Yeah, but
because when you're standing under somebody, that means you're putting them, like your surname, that means sir means above, you're putting somebody else who used to serve above you. So surname be somebody who's above you.
Okay, so Bridget, your wife can't argue with you then.
Well, I ain't got a wife at the moment.
Okay, alright, so ladies, you hear that, ladies? So this man with the big words there. And well, Bridget,
that's why it's called Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi. You can pick up certain information.
And you can pick up the wife on there as well, on the internet. But then if you got this funny thing.
But I just want to say the key to it all, you see, basically, is when you get to the hieroglyphs. Because when you get to the hieroglyphs, Africa is a verbal language. That means it's something that you do, as we was discussing before. Verbs, and noun is the European or Western, not really European, because European is out. It comes from a Phoenician princess, so that's really our name. But the Westerners, they analysed the hieroglyphs, so they didn't understand. Or they didn't understand that the key element of the hieroglyphs is, which is a martial arts of the mind. It's a science of the mind. This is what the hieroglyphs really is about. So basically, what it is a memory tool to do perfect action with perfect thought. I'll give you, for instance, the letter A. They're supposed to know that. They're supposed to say they invented the alphabet. They should know what A means.
Okay, you showed me that earlier on.
Yeah, they should know what A means. If you've invented the alphabet and it comes from Greek or Western, you're the masters of civilization stuff. What does A mean? They don't even know what A means. If you turn A upside down, you see ox's head. So the Phoenicians similar.
You see all that? You see what?
Ox's head. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Ox's head. Oxes is a sign of strength. If you go to the Phoenician or the Jewish alphabet, you see the ox stands for strength. If you go back to the hieroglyph, you see it's a vulture. It stands for the first sound you make. Why is A and Z? Because A is the first sound that you can physically make. It's taking off intake of air. That's why A is A, because it relates to you taking in air. Z is Z because that's when air leaves your body, like when you snore or when you die.
What's some Z's?
That's why A is A and Z is A. They should be able to explain that if they're masters of this sound, but they can't explain it. You've got to go back to the Phoenician alphabet. That's why there's Phoenicians in the dictionary, because Phoenician comes from us. It's a sound from us. So when you go back to the hieroglyph now, you see a vulture. The vulture is the sense of flight. What does a vulture do? It takes the meat just before it turns to poison, so it regenerates. That's what we do when we breathe. We regenerate energy. So basically, it's a science of the mind. It's a science of how and then when you relate breathing to the ox, you see your breathing is how you can control your strength, how you can control your timing, which I need to do more, and how you can control your emotion. So you have the power of strength, timing, and motion just by breathing. I was at the reparations yesterday, and Leo Chester was there speaking, and you could see he has the power of delivery just by breathing. Bruce Lee, martial arts, breath, breath, boxing, you have to keep calm when you're boxing. I was speaking to a boxer yesterday. So your breath is, we don't even realise how much power we've got, and it's just right in front of our face. So we have the power to control our strength, our emotion, and our timing by breathing. We also relate to the sun. We are fire. Basically, they call you a person. What does person mean? Per means through, like perceive, to look through something. Perspective is when you see through something. So per means through. Sun, S-O-N, comes from the Greek S-O-N-N-E, which means the sun up in the sky. So sun means sun. So you have the sun running through you. That's why you're called a person. So basically, they say you see things, but they don't tell you your operating mechanism. When you see things, you see light. Where does the light come from? Fire. So you're seeing fire. Your eye is a fire receiving device. That's why when you see something, you become heated. You get excited because you create heat. Even when it's cold, you become heated. So how do you control your heat? Through your breath. So that's the science of the letter A. It's controlling yourself just by breathing. This is the power that we have.
Wow.
So that's the real science behind the hieroglyph. Is perfect action prove perfect thought. See, and this is what the Western society is missing. So they're taking also the secondary use of languages for commerce, and secondary use of languages to communicate, like to communicate language and communicate. The third use of language, or the third use of, and I said the first use of language, the primary use is what I just said, this action thought. First use of language is to communicate. Second is commerce, law. Third use now is to manipulate, and that's what they're on. Is to manipulate and use somebody through twisting the words around. You see. So they're masters of that level. We just need to get back to our level.
Right. Then, so haven't you with this kind of knowledge? Don't you think you should be teaching in a class or in a
well, that's what we were discussing earlier. So basically, we're going to be from Bless. You know, we're going to be start breaking this down. You know, so we're going to start showing it. And then one more thing I've got to say about the words thing. Words is, as I said before, when you're taking words from a dictionary, you're following an instruction or order. And a diction. Ad means a direction, diction means what is being said to you. So basically, you're becoming addicted to the words that that's why you can't stop yourself drinking, you can't stop your eating, you're chasing every woman, because the words, now you've become addicted to these words. And based on addiction, the ingredient they add to the words is love. So when you put love and belief into the equation, you've lost before you become blind. Belief means to be blind, basically, because you're not going to buy a car just like you believe the car is a good car. You're going to check if it has brakes. You know, even when you're putting on your clothes, you're going to check that it's not rip up or it's dirty up or whatever. So basically, belief in something is your first step to blindness. You know, we've got to use intelligence over belief and love.
So you got to know. No, you got to know.
You got to know. And nature is the best teacher. You know? So basically, if you look at the word love in French, you see it's amour. In Latin, you see it's amour. You read amour from left to right, you see Roma, because basically it comes from Rome. Romance is basically a romantic. So it's when you're going to do something without thinking of the consequences. We have mahat. Mahat is when you look what's good and what's bad about something, so you can move forward. So when you're choosing a car, you've got to see what's good and what's bad about it before you buy the car. So this is a balanced judgment. We are judge-making machines. If you look how we work, we've got 2 eyes, we've got 2 ears, we've got 2 feet, we've got 2 hands, we've got 2 nostrils and 1 mouth. So basically, we are a judge-making machine. And when you add that together, 2 feet plus 2 hands is 4, plus 2 ears is 6, plus 2 eyes is 8, plus 2 nostrils is 10, plus 1 mouth is 11. Look at this number 11 and you turn it sideways. You get the word equals. So basically, when we use all our senses, we can equate, we can find out. You also get parallel. So basically, you can maneuver in an environment because you have mastered your senses.
Hold on. People, say you need a pen, innit? You need a pen. You cannot listen to this man without a pen because you're gonna miss something, right? For real.
That's why you need a pen. Remember, a pen is a holding device with the ink that makes you think. So when you're using the pen in the right way, you can hold in with the ink to think. So you're not sentenced by the sentence, and you can break free and exhale from the brain cell.
Hold on. You need to write some lyrics, you know. Serious thing. It is red. I need to write. If you was an MC, you know, Virgin, mad thing, for real.
Because if you know me before this happened, I was the quietest person. Dougie knows I was the quietest person in the room. I'll do things, but you wouldn't be seeing my mouth open. You know, since these things happened, people say, what happened to you? You know, you swallowed the dictionary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I started to speak in rhymes as well. So this is a part of breaking down the words. I see pen. And depending on the pen, you develop a dependency on the pen. You know, you can end up in the deep end depending on your dependency on the pen.
You see that? See, man already make 2 tunes already. You know? Yes, if you're booking for studio songs and thing, you can call Bless and thing, and yeah, man, you can bring him into the studio and get 2 tunes and thing. That's, you know, right. For real, brethren, lyrical contents, you're brocking it down.
It's the science that we have, you see, because as I say, and the good thing about who makes the best notes banks the most notes. You know, that's why when they see someone like Chris Brown or Rihanna, they don't want them singing anything conscious like this, because it can change our state. That's the good thing. We can absorb things just like that. You can see a man walk in the room and you know what the man's about. You can open a book on one page, you know what the book's about. You can see the start of a film, you already know the film. This is the power that we have. You know,
we don't need to watch films no more. We just skip through and we know what happened.
We know what happened. We got, as I say, telepathy. Telepathy means it's just tel means distance. Like telephone means a sound over a long distance. Television is a sound over a long distance. Telepathy, pathos comes from pathos, just a feeling like sympathy. So it's just, and we have feelings. We can pick up feelings over long distances. That's the power that we have.
All right. So we could go into some more words. So people, you have a phone call. You know, I think it's your secretary. Yeah, so people, some things are going and well, what a elevation for those who hearing it for the first time. I've heard it before, but I'm hearing it again, and it's amazing. You know, we will not stop learning, no matter how old you be. You know what I mean? But as I said, I'm not here to push the book to say, yeah, but I'm telling you straight, your children need this book.
Can I just say something as well? It's not even about the book, basically.
For me, it's about the book, because if my child has this book here, I don't have to show them nothing else.
Yeah, there's a next strategy to it. If you look at Black Power, Amos Wilson, we have to create our own wealth. And to do that, we have to excel. We have to produce products that excel the competition. That's basic. And then we have to give good service. So basically, the book as well. Books can make millions. Look at Harry Potter. So you can buy Harry Potter and turn your youth's party.
Yeah, the book. For real. So, Dougie, yes, sir, brethren.
Yes.
You hide your microphone. One to your mic.
No, microphone. Just listen to the great man Jammers. I've been following Jammers.
Sorry. You can use anyone. You can sit down in the hot seat and
I've been following Jammers' journey for a little while.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been following Jammers' journey for a little while, and it's true that, you know, I asked him, you know, and we come to the realization, and he said he was living in the caravan for about nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when the realization come to him. And the thing is with Jam, because I've known Jam for a long time, I know, he's managed to play out and to DJ, and he does some freaky things when I see him in the club. He does a man who juggle records up and down in a dance, you know what I mean, when he's playing and stuff, right? And, you know, well, the thing is that, you know, Jam is a talent. You know, you can see he's really gifted with words, with rhymes, and he's a poet as well. People are aware of that, you know, and he's really gifted. And this kind of leads on neatly because we do have an event. What's happening this Sunday?
I was just about to ask you that. When is his next event?
This Sunday coming, he'll be speaking the importance of words at the Chestnut Community Centre, right? At the Chestnut Community Centre, this Sunday coming. Well, he'll have his books there, be sending his books there and be speaking. With some other speakers as well. We have Brother Cool Melvin Barrett talking about the power of the whole thing about the brain, the power of the brain. Also, we have a Brother Cool Daryl who will be talking about education and finance. There'll be more of a Q&A scene. So, and also we do have jammers, you know.
we'll be speaking, you know. But yeah, the brother's he's a talent, you know what I mean? He really is a talent, he's really gifted, and it's something he's been grafting at for a good period of time, trust me, you know.
Yeah, I could imagine that still. So any seminars coming up with you and him?
Well, this Sunday coming.
Yeah.
Right, this Sunday coming, generally we speak about the importance of words, you know, and again, it's Find Your Voice, presents invest in yourself and your family, and also about education. And the reason why we're focused right now thing about family, because we do believe now that it's important to come together as a family. We do come as a family, and try to encourage your relatives, your mom, your dad, your nephew, niece, your son, your daughter, and everything. Just come out and boogie, like we said, and just get some
boogie. Better mind what that word mean, you know.
Well, Jammers will put me straight, you know.
Yeah.
But come on down and have a good time, you know.
Yeah.
That's what we're about now, you know. Coming out and having a good time, informing, educating, you know, yourself, educating the family, you know, the community. Just come out and just full joy yourself and get the information and have a good time. Generally, really have a good time. But the tickets are £5, and you can get tickets from Body Music or from myself. Yeah. And what I will do, people phone in, ring on my number. I will give you a complimentary ticket. So if you really want to come, you know, the first 4 people will give a complimentary ticket. So I'll give it my number. So I wanted to give something every time we come on radio station. The number is 0788 240 3871. I repeat, after the show, you know, not right now, after the show, number is 0788 240 3871. So if you really want to come to the seminar, because we want to encourage many people to come out now and see what we're about and full join themselves, take advantage of the information and noise, because, you know, we hear from jammers, and that's just a taster. When he gets to a flow, he's in a flow, but he's got a genuine spirit about him. You know, he's got a warm soul about him, and he's a quiet person. I won't say he's a shy person. He's a quiet person, you know.